well, we're all here, so I'm going to get started. So, hello, everyone, and thank you for joining the Stories of Small Business, Retail, in the Digital Age panel discussion today. My name is Sarah Scott, and I'm a part of the City of St. Catharines Digital Service Squad. Today, we're going to be talking with local small business owners who are using digital tools to build a stronger online presence, reach more customers, and continue making an impact on their communities. I admire the ingenuity and resilience of these small business owners who have had to adapt to the ever-changing digital landscape, especially during COVID-19. Just quickly before we get into it, if anyone watching today would like to connect with myself or any of the panelists, you can click the People's tab on to the right of your screen near the chat. That will allow you to get the contact information for anyone who's speaking in this session right now. You're also able to utilize the session chat to the right of your screen, comment on what we're talking about, and ask us any questions towards the end if there's time. So without further ado, to the panelists, thank you so much for joining me today. If each of you could please introduce yourself and your business. Whoever would like to start first, go ahead.
Ladies first.
Okay. Hi. My name is Karina, and I'm one of the owners of All Figure. It's a lingerie and swimwear boutique located in downtown St. Catharines. So we have our brick and mortar location, and we have our online store as well. And we opened up in August of 2020. So it hasn't been even a year for us yet.
And my name is Caron, and I own Citrus Boutique on 4th Avenue. We have been around thriving for 14 years and full online presence complete since March of last year.
Go ahead, Jamie.
Okay, I'm Jamie Bingham, and I'm the owner of Outdoors Oriented, which is an outdoor specialty retail store and also an online store. We started up in 1994 with our brick and mortar, and our online store started in about 2015.
Jamie's store has been around for as long as I've been alive. I was born in '94. That's pretty. My name's Luke. I'm the owner of the Black Sheep Lounge in Welland, Ontario. We've been open since 2015, and we're a direct trade coffee roaster as well as a cafe. Direct trade meaning we work directly with the farmers that produce our coffee all around the world. So we have a really unique business model where we're able to travel and make relationships with people all across the world, bring back their products and roast them here in Welland.
Amazing. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining me. So I'm just going to jump right into it. I'll start with Jamie. If you could just kind of outline how your business was operating and marketing before COVID-19 and how you'd say your overall business was running before the pandemic hit.
We've been seeing pretty steady growth actually in our business for quite a while now. And I do attribute that to actually our online presence. And it's not just because we're selling online, but it's also a benefit to a lot of our local customers. So we had been seeing pretty steady growth, like I said, for quite a while now, pre-COVID.
Definitely. The same experience of it's been growing and growing, and then the pandemic hit. You already had your online set up, so that was definitely a benefit to your business.
It was a benefit. Our online, when the pandemic hit, was set up, but really wasn't a daily uploaded idea because so many of our clients love the experience of being in the store. But when our doors closed, I was very fortunate that my daughter, who is the one who does all our web work and lives at home with me, was able to be in the shop with me and load everything and get it all up. So I really only had a lag of about maybe 2 weeks, and we were fully up and online. And since then, up until last month, we actually are exceeding all sales we've done like in years. So it's amazing. I'm still shocked that it's going that way, but very happy.
Yeah, it's amazing that you're doing almost better than you were prior to the pandemic hitting in terms of sales and people really wanting to shop online.
Definitely. Well, with the pandemic and us having the website, we gained all these clients that had never heard of us. So we ship all over Canada, and so many are clients that have probably never been in my store before. So the pandemic really kicked me in the butt to get that going with my daughter, and I would never look back from that now. That's for sure.
That's amazing. I know, Karina, you have a bit of a different experience since you opened up during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So from the beginning of the pandemic to where your business is now, how has that experience been?
So like you mentioned, Sarah, for us, we're kind of new in just a new business. So our main focus when we opened up was foot traffic and getting our brand awareness out there. So we were heavily focused on social media ads, Google ads, and just getting the word out there. And then when the pandemic hit and we had the lockdown, we had an online store, but it was basic. It had a few products in there. But ever since the lockdown, we kept updating it on a daily basis, weekly basis, getting more products up there. And the focus has switched over to online traffic now. But it hasn't been easy because we're still focused on the brand awareness, especially for a new business. So the switch has not been easy, but it's definitely, the online store has helped a lot.
Yeah, definitely. It's everyone needs to be online now, and it's nice to be able to have the sales through that channel as well.
Yeah.
Lucas, I'm wondering if you could talk to how COVID in general impact your whole business and selling online, anything like that.
Sure. COVID, like every other business in the world right now, has had an impact on us in a negative but also positive way. I find that the biggest impact negatively was the fact that we went from having 8 staff to 1 plus myself, and that was one of the more difficult things, was having to lay off staff. Our business model has changed. Our in-person sales are down 80%, but our online sales are up 400-500%. So in a way, we're actually doing better financially than we were prior to COVID, but we had to pivot quickly. Coffee is one of those industries like beer and wine in Niagara where it's become a craft commodity, and it's one of those things where people that are under 45 are really spending a lot of money on basically quality items as opposed to quantity. So instead of going out every day, they'll come out once a week or twice a week and spend a little bit on something they enjoy. So for us, it's been pretty good, but since we've had our test panel last week, I've actually switched providers for our host site. So that's been a bit of a challenge for me, switching from Squarespace to Shopify. So
Okay.
that's been a big learning curve for us here as well.
Yeah, definitely. The learning of the e-commerce platforms is something that is never thought you would have to do and switch between platforms. So it's a lot to learn and to take on, but once you get it solid, it's a great revenue stream for businesses.
Absolutely.
And Shopify is amazing.
It is.
Honestly,
The problem
I recommend it to anyone. Their staff are amazing. I just find it so user-friendly. We're actually going to switch our point of sale in the store over to Shopify this year as well and leave the POS system I'm using now. That's how great it is.
Does anyone else use Shopify? Or Jamie, what e-commerce system do you use?
Yeah, we are on Shopify, and I would say overall it is a good system. It does have its limitations, and we've grown with it, and I guess we're pretty familiar with it now because we've been on it for quite a while. So once you get, I think, to a certain point and you start to require a lot of customizations, I guess you just have to watch the budget and watch, you have to have people on staff in-house that can do a lot of those customizations, but you do have to watch the budget for sure, because it can start to creep up. But overall, it's good. I think one of the key things that I usually tell people if I'm kind of chatting about e-commerce and those that have brick and mortar stores is making sure that whatever system you choose, you need a a bridge program between your in-store POS and your online store. And that bridge program is almost equally as important as whatever platform you choose online, because to run two completely independent stores would be a nightmare. For us, at least, we do have a pretty good sync that goes on between the two. Otherwise, you're duplicating work that isn't necessary to duplicate. So that's a big part of it. If it's a business that's sort of already got brick and mortar and is working towards online, is figure out how you're going to get your data from the store, the brick and mortar, online with the least amount of hassle.
Exactly. And I think that's, Caron, it was a good idea to get the Shopify POS in store as well. Then you have less to worry about your inventory management. Like Jamie said, syncing inventories in two different spots.
Totally. The inventory, I mean, when the store is closed, it's much easier. But when the store is open, we are, every time something's run through the till, it has to be taken out of our POS system separately. I mean, we've managed, that's for sure. But when we're crazy busy, it is difficult. But that's something that this year we're definitely going to do, and it will just stream as one.
Definitely. So I'm wondering, what would everyone say, or whoever would like to answer this one, what the main challenge was for your business for adapting during COVID?
Do you want me to start? Is that okay?
Go ahead.
I would say the hardest part for us was actually not for us, it was for our clients. We are definitely a destination. Our clients are so loyal. They come here for everything from looking for an item to wanting to tell us about their daughter getting married or babies being born. And when they couldn't physically come in and do that and have this interaction, I really noticed a lot of them, like on our social media, Instagram, we have a really, really good setup. And so many of them would message us, like, I miss coming in, or send me a pic, or what's happening. Or so when it hit, I would say the biggest challenge in the beginning was keeping everybody kind of okay. And we didn't really know in the beginning how to tread. Like, is it okay to just hop on in front of the camera and say, hey, this is what's come in, and would you like to, let me show you how it looks? Or do we sympathize with what everybody's going on, knowing we're not a necessity? We're a boutique, we're fluff, right? And we basically decided that I would get in front of the camera and let them all know that, this is the new way it's going to go. And we're here for you, whether it needs to be wrapped, dropped. We were driving as far as Fort Erie, still are. Curbside pickup, drop-offs at people's houses, wrapping, like whatever can be done. So for us, that was the whole thing, was making people realize we are still a part of their lives and we're going to tread carefully. And then it just seemed to stream one and one.
Amazing. Yeah, it's getting people to adapt, not only you to adapt your business, but getting people to adapt to the new shopping experience was definitely a challenge I think a lot of the small businesses faced. Karina, I'm wondering if you could talk to the challenge of being new and you're still building that brand awareness. So driving traffic to your website is got to be one of your challenges.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the online traffic has been a challenge, but I think what has helped is that getting out of your comfort zone, in the sense that going on these social media accounts, doing live stories, introducing your products. So you're letting your customers, or even people that are still discovering you, have that feeling like they're shopping with you, but virtually.
Exactly.
So I talk about their product, they can actually know how it fits. They have an idea about what the line is, how the sizes work. So it's kind of like these interactive videos. And then you always just take back to your online store so they can access that way easier. So that has helped us a lot, those stories, and obviously the social media, the campaigns. But another thing is that we're also All Figure is a niche market, so our service is fittings. So bra fittings, swimmer fittings. And what we found is a lot of our customers have been doing virtual fittings with us, so over the phone or even online, and that's what I'm going to be pushing forward on. I'm going to be doing those updates to our website, adding like a virtual fitting option. Even if COVID ends, I'm just going to add that feature into the website. You can book it like a separate appointment, so you don't have to come in store. It can be like a virtual booking appointment. So that's something that moving forward we're going to do as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. You get the in-store experience reflected onto your online store, which is really important right now. Yeah. So moving on, what is one piece of advice you would give a business that is struggling right now? I'll pass that over to Lucas.
Oh, of course, that's a difficult one.
Tough question.
Honestly, every business is different. So I think I'll stick to food service, because for us, although we're a coffee roaster, our brick and mortar location before COVID was the bread and butter, in the sense where, yes, we have wholesale clients and yes, we sell online, but having people come in, bring their laptop, drink a coffee, spend 2 hours working on a project, and that kind of community feeling. If you have something similar to that, in the sense where you're a food service business, the number one thing is to try and replicate the experience that you were providing in store to your online environment in the same way that Karina was saying. So for us, with our customers that they were working from our shop, now of course they're working from home. So how do you bring your products to their home? How do you make it easier for them to use your products at home? So for us, we've been doing live tutorials. We've been printing out brew guides for people, just making the experience as easy as possible, even screen recording the checkout process, so people aren't so intimidated when they visit your website for the first time. And we'll get questions from people and they'll say, hey, I ordered a bag of coffee, but there's no free local delivery option. And so if they don't realize that there's a minimum, they're not going to be able to buy it. Then you find out you've got abandoned checkouts, and you have to learn how to adapt with that. And so whatever advice and feedback you're getting from your customers, it's still a community. It's just not a community in the same way. So you need to learn how to move quickly and adapt on your online presence.
Definitely. And then from the retail side, Jamie, I'm wondering if you could talk to if a business is struggling or getting set up on online retail, if you would have any advice you can provide.
Yeah, I think one of the very important things is, and it will not apply to everybody, but if it does apply, is to pay attention to, at least I'm again speaking from our perspective, we sell a lot of name brands. Pay attention to the name brands and what they're doing online. And if you can partner with them to drive traffic to your online store, that is so key. Like a huge amount of our business comes from partnerships with brands that we sell that are not selling direct to consumer already. Like I said, we have, I don't even know, we probably have 50 brands in the store. 30 of them are probably selling direct to consumer, but the 20 that aren't need somewhere to filter their customers that are shopping on their store or on their brand website. They need somewhere to send them. Well, that's where we come in. And obviously anybody that's done any Google AdWords programs or anything like, or Facebook ads and that, you realize how expensive it can get and how quickly those costs can rack up. And those aren't necessarily, I mean, some of that traffic is good traffic, but a lot of it, you're paying for a click that then leaves the site almost immediately. Whereas if those customers are on, say, that brand website and they go buy it now from an online partner, that's somebody that almost always is going to follow through with that purchase because that's how they got there. So super important, if that applies to you, is to pay attention to those brands and partner where you can.
Definitely, referral traffic is very important, and it's good to utilize people that are coming from the existing brands because they already know that if you're selling it, you're a reliable source and that kind of thing, and then it's local and they have usually less fees in terms of shipping and that kind of stuff. So it's great to partner with brands in that sense. I totally agree with that. I'm wondering, Caron, would you be able to provide any tips to someone who's looking to start an e-commerce business from your experience?
I would say for us, I mean, I'm the most untechnical person you'll ever meet. So I can't speak from the technical side because can't be good at everything. Thank God Chloe's good at it. People love the fact that our site is not too confusing. It's very user friendly. So we break things down so that whether they're looking for a gift or footwear or swim, whatever, there are different departments on our site that they can click and go there. Each piece that we have is photographed front, back, side, talks about fit, tells you what size the model's wearing. I think for me, because I deal with women, I also have a lot of husbands and boyfriends that shop for women on my website, and they really appreciate how user-friendly it is. It also gets refreshed all the time. Every week, Chloe is uploading, changing things, changing banners, keeping it fresh.
It's important to keep it fresh.
Got to be fresh. And we also have all these wonderful options on there. I mean, with it being Valentine's this week, there's a section that anyone who's picking items, they can write in the notes that they want it gift wrapped. So they're able to pick the item. We also sell cards, pick the card. They tell us what they want in the card. We wrap it all. They show up and away they go. So I really feel that the website has to be not too complicated and not too much on there. Like when things sell out, we kind of comb it out. Chloe kind of gets rid of that and keeps it less pages. I think if it's like a ton of pages, a lot of people kind of lose sight of where they're going. So that
definitely, if you categorize properly, they'll have less products in each category, and then people can find exactly what they need, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to throw this question out. It's a bit of a big question, but I'd like to hear what your perspective on it is. So with the shift to digital and everyone shopping online right now because of the pandemic, once the lockdowns and things start to subside, and if we do eventually get back to somewhat of a normal life in who knows how many months, do you expect businesses or consumers to continue to grow online, or do you think people are going to start to revert back to their normal operations and focus more on their in-store? So basically, will you continue to put emphasis on your online store and your online channels?
I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Caron.
To make a quick, I would never revert back, ever. I don't think online is going anywhere. I definitely believe that there's going to be a surge of people wanting to physically get out, walk in a store, have conversation, look at all the choice. I definitely believe that. But anyone who doesn't invest in an e-commerce at this point in time, I just don't think it's a wise idea. I don't think it's going anywhere.
Yeah, I think Karan nailed it on the head. At the end of the day, service or retail-based businesses will definitely still see their customers coming back. Maybe it's double, maybe it's triple, but at the end of the day, that doesn't mean it's separable from the e-commerce. I believe that both can grow simultaneously, and I think that's where we're going to go. There's going to be a lot of people that miss that physical interaction and seeing people in person and holding a product and smelling the candle or whatever the case may be, but online's not going anywhere. And same thing for us. I mean, I'm tripling down on everything right now. Jamie touched on, keeping your costs in order with e-commerce because it can get expensive. But right now is the absolute cheapest time on the planet to invest in e-commerce. There's 100 different programs and grants that will assist you and give you free website hosting. They'll give you free trials. They'll give you free ads on Google. They give you everything. So if you're not doing it now, it's going to be a hell of a lot more expensive in the next 6 months to a year when we start to revert back to somewhat of normality.
Definitely. Jamie or Karina, do you have any comments to add?
No, I just agree with Lucas and Caron that that online will stick around, and there's things that you probably adapted for me as a retail store through this pandemic that will stick with me moving forward. Like I mentioned earlier, virtual fittings, which I would never have even considered if I didn't have this e-commerce and we'd have to go everything virtual now, right? So there's some aspects that will stick and move forward. Because it was a whole like a learning process for us, right? Like retail boutiques, you had the foot traffic, and then you had to convert to e-commerce. And it was like a learning experience, and those things will stick with you moving forward.
Yeah, and it's kind of unique for you too because you started with those as well. So it's the people who know your brand will only know it as that right now. So to revert to something different wouldn't really make sense. So to continue to grow with that and kind of integrate that with your in-store operations, I think is really key.
Yeah.
It'll be great.
I think if customers have had a good experience with you online during the pandemic, then there's no reason they're going anywhere. Like they're gonna stick with you. They're gonna be like, especially like even if they're local and they were doing curbside pickups, if you made it a good experience, they're gonna continue with that for sure. They're gonna recognize that a lot of the time curbside pickup is a time saver. Like if they know exactly what they want, they can put that order in. They can just show up, give you a call, or when we're open, just walk in and say, "I'm here to grab it." Why not? So these people now have accounts a lot of the time on our sites and that. So basically the stumbling blocks that were there have been taken away. They log in, click log me in, add to cart, check out. You've got my credit card info already. Super easy. So they're going to continue with that for sure.
Yeah, it's streamlining the whole kind of purchase process, making it quicker for people and for you on the retail end of things as well, right?
And Sarah, one more thing, we definitely shouldn't be underestimating the laziness in people. It is just, it's not just about time management. It really is, it's mind boggling. And I understand that it's COVID right now, and some people might be saying it's a safety issue, which is of course understandable. But I am shocked by the number of Niagara deliveries that we do that are Welland. Like, I mean, I'm doing deliveries down the street. It's just, and I'm happy to do it, but I'm shocked by it. It's just, people are actually spending more money to meet the minimums just so that we can put it on their doorstep as opposed to them coming, which is crazy, because we do offer curbside as well. So if they're out, we're more than happy to bring it outside to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the importance of local delivery and realizing how lazy people have become and accustomed to it is it's funny, but it's also like it's very important that you offer different types of delivery modes, right? So you have curbside, you have the local delivery, shipping Canada-wide or province-wide, like giving the consumers the option to pick what fits them best and what's within your capabilities is very important. Just kind of, we're at 10:40, so I'll have a few more questions, and then I'm going to open it up to the chat. If anyone wants to start typing some questions in the chat, we can take some questions from there. But I'm just going to throw this one out there. If you could go back in time and tell yourself one piece of business advice, what would you tell yourself?
Is this like to do with
When
or like
any point in your career, Caron?
There must be a lot, because one thing comes to mind. I mean, probably not getting the website up and running earlier, because we had such flow constantly, so we were kind of spoiled with that. So if I was doing anything, it would probably be that, because it certainly wouldn't be everything else we do for our clients, because we just offer so many ways to keep them loyal. But that would probably be it.
Yeah, you have a great customer loyalty program.
We do.
To keep people coming back.
You know, the one thing I say to a lot of my suppliers, because we talk shop and they talk about other boutiques and how they're doing well or not or whatever, they're always, the first thing they say is your social media is, which we are on our social media every day, something new every day, whether it's lives, reels, TikToks, whatever. Our clients are connected all the time, and we really have to thank we have the most incredibly loyal clients who just want us to survive, which is really nice to hear. Karina, you're going to have that too. People will support you. They will. You just, I find that the Niagara Peninsula is a really good stack of people. I find a lot of loyalty, a lot of people that just say, you know what, I'm just going to buy a gift certificate. I don't need anything now, but I want to make sure you're good. And that's kind of nice about, I hate saying small town, but where we are. And Karina, if you're doing all those special things for people, they will be loyal to you for that. They will be.
Definitely. Thank you for that, Caron. Anyone else have a piece of advice that they would share to themselves as just a business owner going through, doesn't have to be related to COVID, just in general?
Yeah, I would say making more doesn't mean earning more. If I knew that in the beginning, that would have been very helpful. Because I think when you're kind of green and you're fresh and it's all new to you, of course, if there's a product that you're passionate about, for me being coffee, I wanted to be the best at making coffee in our neighborhood, and then it grew to wanting to be the best in the region, and then be the best. And you start growing and hiring more staff and selling more, and that's all great. But the problem is, that doesn't mean you're going to be making more for yourself. So you have to understand exactly what kind of life that you want. Are you working to work, or are you working because you want to live, right? So, I mean, for me, I opened a cafe because I love talking to people, and we got so busy that I was not able to do that anymore. I was too busy managing the business and the operations to actually sit down and have conversations with people, of course, prior to COVID. And this was a big slap in the face, and it made us, slow down and reevaluate what our priorities are. So I think if I could tell my younger self, to just understand why you're in business, and kind of build your business around that.
Yeah, that's great. Ivana says in the chat, working smart, not hard.
Yeah.
Well,
sometimes it's good to do both.
Do both.
Yeah.
Definitely. I see Ivana also asked a question. I'll read it out here. She says, I'm going to sell pain management products to my clients and the public. I'm currently working on my website. I'm continuing with retail sales. Any suggestions to keep it going and successful? Weakness, technology for me. Weakness is a technology. Technology is a weakness for me. So to keep it simple, focus on and motivation to help people in pain, and an example through experience. So I guess a suggestion to keep her website successful. Sorry, I read that kind of fast.
I'm trying to reread it to see if I can understand. Ivana, do you have any, what exactly are you selling as pain management products that might be a little more helpful for us? Is it like tools, or is it medication? What is it exactly you're using?
If anyone has any other questions too, we can put them in the chat right now.
I'm not seeing it, but Paul earlier asked about Shopify having an inventory management component, and they do. It's actually very good. So I was surprised when I switched from Squarespace to Shopify how much detail they provide, and it's very easy to integrate with your current system, whatever you're using in your retail location.
Yeah, I have experience with Shopify as well, and it's very user-friendly, and you can scale it has a high scalability. So it can get complicated if you want to start selling lots and lots of products and shipping and all that kind of thing. But for a starter and to be able to grow with Shopify is a great platform. I see Ivana says all natural topical cream and tools. Any suggestions to keep it going and successful?
Well, if it were me, I would probably, if it's that kind of a thing, like maybe there are, I don't know if she's manufacturing these products, because I would almost find other people that maybe are, whether they're massage therapists or chiropractor, and maybe I would work with other people and see if they would even try the product and do they like it, and kind of work that way as well, and then kind of have them as partners on your website. Like, it's hard because what she sells, you kind of need to try. You don't really know it or can't smell it on the internet.
That's a great point. Testimonials are key in businesses like that.
I think testimonials in general are great for all businesses. I'm not sure if on your other website, if your websites have testimonials on them, but I find from my experience with creating different websites, people really like to hear feedback from loyal customers, and it really generates trust and sales. Um, Anyone else have experience with having great testimonials that you can share through your social media or your website?
Well, we did one yesterday. We were so excited. The mayor did a shout out to our store. We were like, how cool
That's
is
amazing.
he? He was like looking for gift ideas for Valentine's or whatever. And I was like, I love my mayor. He's just so great. So as soon as we get anything like that or from a client, we always ask their permission. We remove their name, and we do like to post it because, like you said, Sarah, people love to hear that they were happy with their experience.
Yeah, definitely. And then that validates other people that you're a trustworthy source and that you are a great person to buy from and that kind of thing. So getting people to repost when they buy your products on social media is also great because you're getting that user-generated content as well.
Yeah, the other thing too for us with our brick and mortar location prior to COVID, we were much more food oriented, and not so much now, obviously. But we became #1 restaurant in Welland in 2015, and we've been #1 since then. So having such a high spot on TripAdvisor is. I don't think there's any amount of money in the world that could ever get you that kind of authentic and I guess what's the word I'm looking for? It's just real traffic, right? So when people are coming down to Niagara, if they're from Quebec and they want to cycle the circle route, they're going to look in their area, like what's close off the bike path that we can go stop and grab a coffee or something to eat. And I mean, having genuine reviews from people is very helpful. It also comes with some difficulty because when you hold a high spot, of course, people hold you extra accountable. So if they come expecting a 5-star compared to a Toronto 5-star, they might be like, this isn't the best sandwich I've ever had in my life. And so you always have to be improving. But yeah, I mean, testimonials are huge.
Definitely. I see Brittany asked a question. When switching to Shopify, how did everyone find the learning curve with the new platform versus the older one? So I guess that applies mostly to Lucas as you switched.
Sure, I'll touch on it briefly. And Karina, I'm curious what you're using. But so Squarespace, by far easier to use templates and design your website. Squarespace is one of the easiest platforms in the world to make a beautiful website. And it's quite functional. The problem with it is as you start to grow and you're starting to sell more of your products to ship, that's when it becomes difficult. So I think if you're a service-based industry, Squarespace might actually be the way to go. But when you're a product-based company that you're shipping across, whether it's the region, the province, the country, or worldwide, Shopify is just, it's much easier to integrate shipping solutions, and that's really the biggest benefit. So Shopify, when you're in Canada, they have negotiated rates with Canada Post, so you're able to get cheaper options for shipping. So with Squarespace, to ship one bag of coffee anywhere in Niagara was on average $13 to $15, and that's almost as much as what the coffee bag costs. With Shopify, we're able to bring that down to $8. So you're basically saving half the shipping costs, and the further you go, the cheaper it gets in a weird way. So I find that that was the biggest thing, but they're not necessarily similar. But Shopify has an incredible training program, as well as their customer support is very good.
Amazing. Yeah, and I was gonna jump off that also, Lucas, of asking Karina of what platform you're using and if the user friendliness of it and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so we're using WooCommerce actually. So AllFigure was built on a WordPress site, and then we have WooCommerce using it, and I like it because it's you can really customize it. Like they have templates, and then your website becomes really unique in that sense. And then there's plugins that you just install. Some are free, some you have to pay a one-time fee, and you just build your website based on that. And they have, it's similar, because I went to Shopify as well. I was doing a little bit of research on both of the platforms, and it's really similar because you do have the way you insert products into WooCommerce is very similar to Shopify. You just have like the variants, all the sizing, colors, whatever you want, very similar. And then you can, I found it easy, like from my point, like I'm not like a website expert designer or anything like that. And I found it really easy to build and to continue to manage using WooCommerce.
Amazing. And do you use your POS in store? It's different than your online?
Yeah, that's the little, yeah, it's different.
It's been a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, but the thing what helped us is that on our online store, we have products that we have on there are products that we can reorder. So they're not like a fashion, like one time and that's it. We can reorder them because they're like a year. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So we kind of dealt it with that way, but yeah, down the road we might have to start figuring out how to bridge those two together.
Definitely. I have one more question from the chat. Paul asks, do we all believe once the pandemic has subsided that people will still keep the shop local mindset, buying local, support habits in mind? Or do you think people will go back to the shopping at Amazon and Walmart, and that's a challenge of those being your competitors?
Unpopular opinion, I don't think they're embracing the shop local, support local habit now. I honestly believe that people just like throwing that around, like the same way they like throwing local heroes around about healthcare workers. My girlfriend's a nurse. The first month of the pandemic, sure, people were dropping off donuts and sandwiches and stuff like that, but that disappeared really quickly. And I think the same thing happened, at least in our type of business. The first month, everyone's buying gift cards, everyone's buying coffee, everyone's this, that, whatever. But I know for a fact that Amazon stocks are up. I know that, Walmart's busier than ever. These places are always going to be busy. So at the end of the day, we shouldn't be relying on the local community to support us. We need to be competitive. We need to hold each other accountable. We need to offer better products and services. And then we don't need to worry about these people. At the end of the day, I can never compete with a Starbucks, nor do I want to. We offer a different product, a different type of experience. And so I think that shop local is a good idea, but it should only be if you want to. I mean, my dad, like I said, the baker, he's never going to compete with Dempster's. He's never going to beat out Wonder Bread, but he can make the best loaf of bread he knows how to make, sell it to the people who want to buy it. But I think it's us that needs to have the burden on us, not the customer. Because at the end of the day, we can't force them to buy anything from us. So.
Yeah, you want to provide an experience that makes them want to come to you rather than going to one of the big box stores, because you provided such a unique experience and great product.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me whining about Kicking Horse being so inexpensive at Costco is not going to sell me more coffee. So it's I just have to learn how to adapt and move. And I mean, I'm sure every one of us at this roundtable here has spent probably, I couldn't even say, probably 50 or 60 hours just learning how to improve our e-commerce since this pandemic has started. I can't tell you how long I've been watching YouTube reviews and testimonials and all sorts of different tutorials is the word I was looking for, sorry, on how to make our site better, easier to navigate. And so I think the burden's on us.
I like that viewpoint.
So I can probably give a little bit of insight in that we are quite possibly one of, or probably the only one in this panel at least, that sells both on our own website and also through Amazon. So I just said a bad word. I know that a lot of people immediately, oh my God, Amazon, but I will say, and I'm not necessarily recommending it for everybody, but don't just discount Amazon as a bad thing. If you navigate it properly, then I can say, like, I obviously see the sales on both sides, and there is an insane amount of business there for certain retailers with certain products that, yes, you're going to lose some commission to them. And there are definitely some, difficulties just sheerly dealing with them. But there is a way to almost coexist. Like for the longest time, I was basically banging my head against the wall, and eventually it came to the point pretty much when the pandemic started, that I was like, you know what, let's just give this a shot. Let's become a third-party seller on Amazon and put some of our products on there. And then it just pretty quickly blew my mind, actually, how much we were selling through there. So it's almost like if you can't beat them, join them. And like I said, it's not going to work in all scenarios, but here's a small, independent, locally owned business that is actually using Amazon to expand their business, not the opposite.
Yeah, and that's for the record, I agree with you. That's kind of the point I was trying to make. I don't think we should be criticizing these big companies. I think we should be, trying to improve our own as opposed to fighting against them. Many of the tools and products that we sell in our own shop, we buy from Amazon. So I'm all for it.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. I just looked at the clock, so we're approaching the end of the panel. I wanted to let everyone know that if you scroll below the video here, you can see all the links to all of the speakers' websites, Instagram, Facebook, anything like that, as well as a bit more about the business owners and their business. Overall, thank you so much, everyone, for joining me today. I really appreciate you taking the time to be a part of this event. I think we discussed some really valuable information for people to take away from today. And so now I just want to let everyone know who's watching that we're going to be taking a quick break. So be sure to check out the networking feature where you can be connected with other people who are in the event. And we will head back over to the main stage for 11:10 a.m. with a presentation with Dara Andre. So thanks, everyone, and I'll see you around the event.
Thanks, guys. Nice meeting and re-meeting you all.
Hey, thank you.
Bye.
Take care.